Hey, what is going on, you guys? I'm flying solo tonight. My wingman Pablo is under the weather, and so which is a bummer. I'd really love to have him here tonight. But we're gonna do this one solo. We were gonna cancel tonight, just take a rest with him being out, and some things changed, and we decided that it was probably best to just go forward with it. So it's been a crazy week since the last time we talked and talk your face off. There's been some other live streams and hanging out with my buddy Jack. Then we had Jeff on last night, and so we've been kind of live crazy a little bit. And I was going to take the night to hang out with the family, especially since Pablo was feeling under the weather. I didn't get the chance to do a whole lot of our seeing this week, and so it kind of left what I wanted to talk about to almost nothing until some recent revelations. So I definitely wanted to share it with you guys because it's kind of all I was really hoping for in the communications. I think that we were talking about even starting last Tuesday night. So those of you that aren't in the know, kind of what happened is a week ago, right before we got on the show. That whole day we'd been seeing stuff. I was sitting at my boys' music lessons like I did today. And I saw, some posts saying, about some stuff that they had about takedown requests or cease and desist letters that were received and kind of some confusion around that was felt. I quickly, from my phone, sitting there at the music lesson, started changing everything I could on my website because I kind of became aware that maybe some of just was some wording issues, whatever. So I'd kind of gone and changed mine. I went and looked at somewhat, everything on my site was worded based on what I'd seen other people do anyway. And so then I went and looked at, what some of the other companies were doing that had been doing it for years without issue, like Proline, RPM, some of those guys, and then changed my site to kind of follow those guidelines. And then, went kind of, was like, whew, I'm glad I caught it. They, these guys had already been hit. I'm catching it now. Thankful for them for pointing it out. Hopefully we got in and, everything's going to be cool. 7 hours, 8 hours, whatever later, we're about to start this and I'm about to get on. I'm texting with Pablo and the site goes down. I don't know exactly when it happened. I just remember getting an email from somebody or a message on Facebook asking what happened to my site. The links to the Sen Racing axle mount, servo mount things that we make 3D printed weren't working. So I'm like, oh, that's weird. So I went to look, and then the whole site was down. And then I went into my email, and that's where I saw a letter from Wix saying that they'd received a takedown request with. I read it on here, everything that it said. So, yeah. Last week I was kind of like jumping in just, you know, straight up out of that and kind of emotional, I would say, like, because I wasn't sure how I'm going to get it back up. It was only one page that was an issue. And from what I could tell, it was one word on one page that was an issue. And it's more than that. And we'll go into that a little bit. That's in my mind how it went down to saying that one word on one page was what took, but it's really about what was missing as well, in order to do that, in order to bring clarity to the end users and to the buyers and all of that. And so some of it was just, me thinking through things and not understanding how everything was perceived. And, the intentions weren't there. But there's laws and stuff about this stuff. Most people, I think the confusion comes in that most companies don't do anything about it. So you think that you're fine because that's how you've always done it. All this other stuff was fine. And then, you do it here and you get slapped. So, um, there's been clarification. I reached out to Traxxas by phone through customer support, which, sorry, dude, if it was an awkward phone call for you having to get that phone call, like, what's your zip code? What's your name? And how can I help you? And I was very polite about it and just said, "Hey, you probably heard some stuff going around. I'm the guy that has the CCxRC website and videos and stuff talking about this and some other stuff. And so, is there anybody I can talk to? Like, I'd love to kind of just find out for people because also one of the things happening is a lot of people are reaching out to me because of me being a little bit vocal about it. Um, and again, I hope that I was coming across, at least in the videos, as more disappointed. Like there wasn't really anger. I was disappointed in how it all went down. Because I understood that, maybe I had something wrong. It was unfortunate that it was one page. It was unfortunate, that it happened the way that it did, but I wasn't following the letter to the T or the, well, I don't want, that's a weird way to say it. I wasn't following the letter to, yeah, whatever. So anyway, my thought was like, man, it would have been easy. I would have loved it if they'd have just reached out. I would have fixed it. The whole point of this was we were wanting to come alongside them and we wanted to push this forward. We thought the product that they had was cool, and we wanted to do with it what we were doing with the other products. Um, and so it felt hurtful, and I probably a little emotional on my part, right? So owning that as well. But yeah, I mean, so my site was down 4 days. A lot of that to blame is on Wix, which I also said in the second video the next day. Once I started realizing what happened and what wasn't happening, and I started to get a cooler head about it, I realized my company's a little bit to blame. Like if they just get a letter like this and they do this takedown, what is to stop my competitors from just doing takedowns? Again, I don't feel like I have competitors. I have a lot of friends in the hobby, and I don't see it as competition. But like if somebody just hated you and maliciously wanted to come after you, they could just do this that easily, and work to get your site taken down, and to the point where you're not making money and it's hurting you, and you just say, you know what, forget this, we're done with this. So so I tried to own it. I was also a little bit critical of the handling of it, and how it felt faceless to me, which, in many ways it did. And the thing to remember is, and I've worked for big companies, so I get it. Like, we always talk about the red tape, right? It's hard to steer a big ship, and it takes longer to steer a big ship. So here it is. It's a week later. I've had contact now with them. I haven't spoken with them, but I let them. I gave them a letter. I've talked with a few people who are exclusive dealers, and they've kind of given me some kind of behind the scenes stuff and kind of like help me see things a little bit differently. But it they reached out, and here's what it is, because and I get where they were coming from some of it. And one of the questions I had was this accidental? Like, were we just part of a bigger thing? We didn't know, like, and so we always hear there's third party. A lot of people hire this stuff out. I talked about it in my videos on YouTube. The music companies hire it out. And so crossing your I and dotting your T. Ashley, I said that actually in one of my videos, in one of the lives. I did say that. Um, so yeah, it it came down. So here's what I'm saying is they reached out and they cleared up a lot of things for me. And they've been working behind the scenes. They didn't reach out to us and just say it. And again, it's kind of maybe a little bit problematic that they didn't. Um, so I'm going to say I'm a lot on this because I'm just trying to be thoughtful in the way that I say everything and be careful in the way that I say everything, not because I feel like I'm a target right now or anything, but because I want to make sure I present it properly. And I'm trying to think through things as I'm thinking, as I'm speaking, and I don't really have this all noted down because it's all kind of still all so fresh. But anyway, they reached out, and some of this started because of, you guys have seen it. You've seen me on Facebook in an advertisement for a $50 Raminator. I've had people messaging me on Instagram talking about what are the best upgrades for this truck, and then they'll ask how long did it take for yours to arrive, and all these things, and then I'm like, dude, it's like a couple days, it's not long. If they have them in stock, it's coming. All of a sudden to find out, like they're like, yeah, I got a really good deal on it. It was only $50, and I'm like, yeah, it's not coming. Like that's a scam website. There's another one out there, Element RCs with an S at the end, elementrcs.com. And it's all these Element products on sale for $80, under $100. And so what they were targeting were these companies that were ripping people off with scam websites and all this infringing stuff in order to just steal your credit card information, and you get nothing in the end. Like you just are spending money on nothing. It's a scam. And in that, they're using a third-party software and system to do it, and people, and we got caught up in it. So those things, their typical enforcement procedure is just take down. And so that's kind of what we got wrapped into. And then the stir happened, and they heard it, and they realized that this is happening, and these, many sites that you guys all love, without naming them and bringing them into any of this, were taken down. Also, other ones that I didn't even know had reached out to me and said, yeah, it happened to us. We weren't, in those pictures or anything that's been mentioned, but we've been taken down twice. But then he had sent me like an image where it said that they, rescinded the infringement notification on his second one. Anyway, lots of stuff going down. And so my thing was like, all right, like I'm going to move forward without them. It wasn't necessary to me. It wasn't a big part of my business. Most of what I wanted to be doing anyway was YouTube videos. And then I started these basically like a band t-shirt, but you could get a diff cover with my logo on it. If you're not wearing the shirt, you could at least put on your truck and you could rep if you want. So much of it started out of that. It all started with the little mini monster trucks and the crushed cars and the little Lexan jumps. And it grew into what it became, which is still just a small number of things that we offer for the mini world. Nothing even like most of these other companies are doing. So in that, we got wrapped up into all that, and it got taken down. And so, they became aware of it. People started raising their voices. People started, talking about this. I'm going to get to the comments. I'm seeing them popping here. Lots of comments. So in the end, they kind of they took down all the notices against us, because we weren't meant to be part of that whole takedown that had happened. And they've also said that in the future, they've got different plans. So, that they would contact us on something like this, because we weren't like an overt just scam trying to rip people off. And it was really a verbiage thing, which, they have the right to, but they understand how it looks. And it's not even how they want it to come across, because, they're saying here that they want us to be supporting them. They know that the industry thrives when there's aftermarket support for vehicles. And so they're not trying to shut down the small businesses. And they said nothing could be further from the truth. And they realized that the hobby industry is comprised of all of this, like a bunch of small businesses, whether it's the people selling the products, the people making aftermarket party stuff. So yeah, it's all in the end a big misunderstanding. It feels like some of this with communication could have been handled a lot better. And so, I'm here to basically say, I stirred the pot a little bit much. I felt like maybe there was a little bit of aggression. Again, it wasn't intentional aggression, based on what they're saying here. And so hopefully moving forward, that's not going to be the case for the companies, unless it's like legit trying to fake people into thinking you're selling Traxxas authentic Traxxas parts that are something that you had made cheap and are selling, that kind of stuff they do want to go after, which is totally legit for them to do. So here's a couple of things that have happened since then that we can quickly talk about. One of them is they did, if you saw Scale News update today, Josh at Harley Designs did an amazing job of explaining and encapsulating everything that happened, even my overreacting. Maybe I feel like it was me he was talking about a little bit, but uh, so I've talked with him and we're good. And I told him about all this and kind of how I feel like maybe, this would have all been easily cleaned up with conversations even earlier. It's a week later now. Things have stirred for a while. I know people here, even in the comments, are still mad. I know that some people were mad before and always are mad about it. So that's kind of the thing. Like, it's always been a thing. This stirred it up more. But I feel like there's more people as well that just kind of were like wanting to stand behind so many of the people that they know that were affected by this too. So in that, I thank you guys for your support. So many of you guys have supported me through this. But I also just want to say that I was a little misguided in it. They are working this. I'm sure it cost them a lot of money to make this happen. Like, they're moving a bunch of people around, taking the time to do this, making sure the legalese is right. So what seems like just typing a letter, when you get the amount of people involved in salaries and using a day or a week or however long it took to process this out and go through all the check marks to get it online, this is an expensive page. We don't always think about things like that. Same with products being made. Um, so yeah, I feel like they heard. So regardless of all of it, they've stepped forward. They've heard. They're gonna try to do better. This is a big step toward doing better. This page is available now for anybody that wants to come alongside them and make parts and have stuff for sale for their products. It talks about how do's and don'ts. Your product name should include its own brand name and should not advertise the products as a Traxxas brand, EE. So then they're saying Bob's bearings for TRX4 or Fitz or not TRX4 bearings. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of do's and don'ts in here and how you can make your stuff fall in line with their um their guides. So that's a big help. A big help. So I I just wanted to come on because I did make a big stink about some of this stuff, and I've had them now reach out to me about this. And I feel it's only fair because that's what I wanted, right? I just wanted someone to reach out and explain to us what we did because, like in my case, again, it felt very minimal. This guideline definitely helps because I didn't have my name on this stuff. The reason being is you were on my website, everything was about it. I had my logo on it. I felt like it was overly redundant for every part on my website to say CCxRC, this. And then, when you're trying to look for things, the CCxRC is on the front of everything. And I've looked at a lot of other sites and they don't lead that way. But because we're making it for theirs, it makes sense. Mine didn't have their name in the description or the product, whatever thing, the actual title, and even it wasn't in the URL. It did have the TRX4M listed, and it was like a 8G TRX4M1. Again, designating it from the SCX24 diff covers that were brass. So yeah, little bit of a mistake. All of this helps. Hopefully, we won't see this happen again in the future. So yeah, they're allowed to enforce this stuff. I'm sure they have a whole lot more of it going on to them than a lot of other people do. We've seen it. Element RC's had it. Somebody showed me a send page. It was the same way. trying to get people to buy send products, basically to steal your information and be able to use your credit cards like a phishing kind of a thing. So that's kind of who they were targeting. We got wrapped up in it, and it's unfortunate that I got taken down for 4 days, and I felt it for sure. You guys helped again minimize that. I'm still trying to get orders out. I also had, and I'll have to reach out to some people when it all went back live, and I was trying to fix every company's thing because of it, and make sure everything was kind of trying to fall in line. And some of the things, the quantity stuff got all messed up or got turned off on counting quantities, and so some things said they were in stock that aren't in stock, and the site's been a mess since going back. And I'm working to get it back in. So some of you may see things saying, "Hey, I have to refund you for this," because I don't like to have stuff listed or have people's money until unless I have the product. I'm not going to like take your money and then try and order it and send it. I don't do like that ship stuff. If it's listed, I should have it in stock in my house or basement. So all that to say, I'm undecided personally about whether or not I offer the parts again that I had for it. I'm not gonna totally abandon them. I will be reinstating the videos that I have of their stuff. I feel like at least there's kind of been you know a palm branch or it's been extended at least between us through this. And so I'm not going to be on the whole. Yeah. So I'm not going to be anti running their stuff. I may or may not have two of them that aren't in driving condition after the weekend. But I can say with certainty, with absolute certainty, and Go Man Go, if you're still here, he can attest to this as well. Go Man Go, are you in here still? Ashley Connolly, I'm glad. Olive Branch, thank you, Gory Boggs, and welcome back, Gory. Sorry about last night. Yeah, and Olive Branch, thank you. Palm Sunday got me all messed up. Go Man Go's here, so yeah, Go Man Go and I can attest with full certainty that the XRT is one tough tough RC. That's all I'm going to say for now. You guys will have to wait to see. But it is stupid tough. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. Some of you guys have seen what's been alluded to, and it happened, and it's yeah. It's amazing. It's honestly, it's amazing. Everybody I've told about it, I'm like, it's crazy what happened. Yeah, you go. Craziest thing I've ever seen. So it can be run over by a monster truck multiple times, and it just wants more. It's it's unstinking believable. So let me try to get back to some of the comments here. They've been flying by. I've been trying to get everything off of my head, and because I'm very easily distracted. Go Man Go can attest to that as well. In what we were shooting, I'm easily distracted. Pilot Ryan Media, welcome in, man. If you're still here, Travis's Custom RCs, Rock Wolf, Kurt's RCs, Jeff Walter, Benjamin Franklin, RC Boys 619, Mets RC, Hoodwiz, Hatfield Flightcraft, Big Head RC, Matt Harris, Max Paul. Tons of you guys are in here. So yeah. Lots of comments, just names, everybody saying hello to each other. Jeff Makovich there. That's kind of what it felt like, right? Hello, Traxxas. Can I speak with your lawyers, please? So yeah, and I was very polite and very much looking to seek some kind of reconciliation and admit that I didn't know everything that I needed to do properly in this. So, but yeah, let's see here. Comments here. Lots of people saying they're doing great. So yeah, I think I kind of covered most everything in their letter. Um, Says that they became aware of the enforcement through the posts and took action immediately to rescind the takedown notice with your hosting provider Wix and pursue a different course of action. And then they created this web page and they sent the link for that. And they also adjusted the process for the future communication ahead of enforcement. So yeah, they said in my case that it appeared that the products were branded um, as Traxxas creations and their items. So that's what I got wrong. They only got me for one of the pages in particular. That's all that was listed on the infraction. Um, and I can post what I had. Again, it felt in the context of my site, and that's I guess where intention comes in, which doesn't matter in accordance with uh, the rules, right? It doesn't matter. Um, it still should be done properly, but I will post the and I had to use because I was in like fear and I just immediately tore everything down, like just anything with the word I just deleted, uh, just out of safety, so that there wouldn't be back end hidden URLs or any of that stuff that could potentially get me in trouble. Because again, I wasn't trying to do anything nefarious. So here's what I had. It said 8G TRX4M brass diff covers, and it says that there was two premium quality diff covers for the Traxxas TRX4M. Comes with screws, adds weight down low. I was expecting people to infer from the photo with my logo on it and it being on my site that they were stuff that I was having made, which is not what they want. They want me to say CCxRC 8 gram brass diff covers. So, and that it fits according to their site. So let me go back here. First of all, say thank you to David Ferris. Will I start selling turd parts again? Um, that's up in the air. I don't have because of this letter. I don't have again. I was really for what they were doing. I absolutely think the TRX4M is an amazing vehicle out of the box. We wanted to start doing more comp stuff with it, and it wasn't keeping up with some of our other vehicles that we could do a lot with. Um, and but that's because we've added weight down low, and so that's what we were trying to do with this: make brass parts that would do it. Had a big order in for just stuff that would do 12G, even more heavy brass diff covers. Um, so yeah, um, I'm getting low on a lot of stuff because of eBay. You guys have been awesome, which has also just been nonstop work for me on top of all of this, trying to get as much of it out the door, just working nonstop packaging things because you guys really, really showed up for those crazy deals we were offering. So yeah. Um, Aussie RC Playground had you or the hobby community not voice their frustration with them, they probably would they've done anything. I doubt it. It's how they are. I doubt it. I think mainly it's because they wouldn't have known. So I think that it's a lot easier in this day and age to make things known. And again, it sounds like from the second they heard they were working on stuff. Um, Again, it feels like it could have been something where they could have sent something saying that, but um, communication from big business, from whatever, it's gonna be different. So I'll say Traxxas is awesome. Eclectic electric. Well, in reading your comment, I just did. So we'll go with that. Uh I feel keep them that brand, the turd brand, if you do. I think some people will still just kind of shy away from things like you see in other companies where they'll use just a letter designation. And you may see that happen. You may see people just do T brand and, A brand. Who knows what we'll see. But yeah, but you can take it how you want. I really feel like it is the olive branch, um, you know, to the community, and the rescind on all of us as well is very helpful because it doesn't give us a strike. Because the main fear that I had was getting multiple strikes. If I put something else up and I did it wrong, getting another strike is very problematic. Because I read through all the stuff on the Wix site about infringement, how to contact about it, what happens when you contact about it. So yeah. Daniel Fox says much love from Michigan. Thank you. Um Rock Wolf says, I think you reacted with the proper amount of outrage. We agreed with you from the start. They reacted to our outrage and reassessed their stance. I think there's some of that definitely happened. So yeah. Jesse Baker, what up from Michigan? Yes, we will be at Axial Fest in Indiana this year. Tanker T68 says my X Max is the only monster I haven't busted. I haven't busted mine either. It's been wicked. Gory Boggs, thank you. All is right. It's been a tough week. I was a little little on edge all week. I slept great though somehow. I think I was just so tired. My brain was so tired at the end of every day. So, will we be putting up the video of you driving the Yeah, we weren't vindictive in the video at all. We didn't say what we were driving. The drag car has some parts from that isn't fully them. And then the XRT was just the toughest truck I had. So that's nothing against them. I prefer the I have more fun with the X Max. I have more fun with the Max. So if any were gonna, get damage, it was the least likely. Uh, and it was, I wouldn't have missed it as much. So let's just say that. But we were going for it. We were trying to make it through. Go Man Go is not very good at judging speed. I'll just say that. Um, Brian G. Sherwood, surprised they talked to you. They would not respond to emails. And I don't know how you guys wrote it. I was very, I was very humble, I believe, in my approach. I explained what I did. I explained where we were coming from. I tried to do it in a way that, shared the heart of it. Like, again, my biggest thing was disappointment. It wasn't anger. And so that's why I pulled down some of the stuff even before I'd heard from them. It was getting a little bit um too much anger going on in the comments, and I couldn't monitor it enough, and I didn't want to deal with it. So um I pulled it down. And I also don't like how I worded one of them. I feel like it felt angry when I reread it days later, and I wasn't coming. I didn't want to be coming across in anger. So because I'm not an angry type of person. So Um, KC Crawler, I agree with your initial thank you as well. I forget I'm up here today. I need to come up to the studio more often. It's in disarray. I haven't used it at all this winter, um, but I need to. I've missed it up here. Says I agree totally with your initial response and also applaud your response afterwards. You gain a new follower and customer. Well, thank you, man. I'm trying to catch up quickly. So yeah, definitely you guys support aftermarket. These guys, I know how hard it is. Well, the other thing I've been dealing with is my taxes stink this year. I'll just say that. So they're very terrible for me. I owe a lot of money. So there's that. Um, but yeah, you don't have to do stuff in hate. You can say things and you can disagree and you can make a point. Uh, but you don't have to, like somebody said that there was a building vandalized. I talked with the guy whose building it was vandalized and apologized to him because I felt some ownership of that and it's not right. Like to it's another small business, somebody owning, a hobby shop that sells their parts, and that's not cool. Not from the get go. And also like people banning, you know, it's one thing if you have a beef with something, but you don't take it out on other people because they happen to have something from them. Like my kids' friends all have their cars, right? And so my kids were telling them what was going on. I'm like, dude, don't make it don't make them feel bad about what they have. That's not the point. And don't like go, it's not you don't want to exclude people because of it. So it's not their fault for sure. And again, I think that what they've done here is a big step in the right direction. So yeah. Matt Harris. Yes, it's up and going again. Psycho Garage. Dirk, what's up? Yeah, that's correct, Dirk. You're, but I'll never buy a CCxRC part again. Is that what I was supposed to learn? I hope so. I don't want you repping my stuff. So there's that. But yeah. Anyway, that's where things are from. What's going on with you guys? Um, in the community, like what are feelings? Let's do a therapy session here. I think Mel needs some love. Can somebody give him a virtual hug? That's not actually what they're saying, Mel. They're saying do not offer anything Traxxas again. They will come after you. The whole point of this is to say they don't actually want to come after us aftermarket guys. That's the point. Um, so they've given us now clear guidelines how we can avoid being caught in one of these basically attacks on the fishers and the fake products and stuff that happen all over too many times. You see too many YouTubers coming out saying, "Yeah, somebody's using my thing to advertise. Don't buy it. If it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true." So that's kind of what it is. But yeah, um, I'm still gonna, like I said, I'm still gonna do the monster truck video. It's too funny, King of RC ridiculousness to not do. Um, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. Just make sure you fall within, and I think most of the guys are doing that. So I might do the bearings because that's something I can, nobody definitely owns that, and I don't think there's enough change in our diff covers and different things that we were, they weren't coming after us for the design and that kind of stuff. It really became a verbiage thing, and that's just kind of. I could have said I should grow up and do better right from the beginning. Um, so yeah, it was a lot of learning that went on for me. Spin rest, get it. It's not even the Chinese part makers necessarily, unless they're selling it, because they're not a direct copy off of the Traxxas parts. There's enough difference. Even the diff covers like I had designed, there's enough difference because of the materials used, a lot of things that went into it that are different, that that wasn't the target. So yeah, there's definitely that. Hey Kimberly, Basher Queen's in the house. Welcome. Eclectic didn't get a hug back. Mets, come on already. I want to see this. Yeah, it's going to require some editing because there's like 3 or 4 different camera angles and audio is being recorded separately. So marrying it all up is a little bit more work. I had my kids helping, and so not throwing them under the bus. They're young. They've never been trained. I would have shot things differently if I were running the camera the whole time or directing with the camera and not on the time deadlines we were under. So there's going to be a lot of interesting cutting that I have to do in order to make it work how I want it to. So yeah, Kenny Miller, you get a shout out, buddy. Your package is in the mail. So yes, what did yeah, it is a different way of going after um the way that the name is used. I will say that it's well within their reach to do so. Having guidelines now is very helpful. So that's a good thing. But yeah. So I'm not saying everything was done right. I'm not saying everything was done wrong. There was a lot of learning, I think, by everybody involved, me included. And um, you know, humble pie doesn't taste so bad sometimes. I don't actually like any kind of pie, but it could be like a humble Diet Coke, and I'd be okay with it. Couldn't use the Coke though. It'd just be like Diet Humble Pop because Coke also doesn't like you using their name that way. So the bigger you get, the more you have to protect. And so yeah, it's interesting. So anyway, that's that. Now I'm gonna try to go back and hang out with my family for a little bit. I was gonna do that tonight because it's been pretty crazy, uh, as you can imagine, the last week. And I got a ton more orders to get through, and I'm still trying to edit the USTE video like daily, just hammering on everything. Like spend hours doing this, spend hours doing that, take some phone calls, all kinds of stuff, and never can catch up. So got some new products that came in that I got to do videos on, and yeah, just need to keep shoveling. Anyway, guys, yeah, guidelines are key. Somebody said here, it all popped. You don't like pie, ban CCxRC, right? Exactly. So hopefully more will come out from all this. This is just the initial, and I just I want to get out there because if if it's what I was asking for and they did it, I felt like I needed to come through and just say things are moving, and that's good. And that's, I think, because of all you guys, um, you know, having a voice, and that's pretty cool. So cheers. Just keep having fun RCing. That's what we always say to do. Have fun RCing. It's been tough for me this week. And I look forward to just getting back and having fun RCing. Hit the like button on the way out if you like the video. And we'll catch you next time. We're going to have some kind of crawling video of some sort. I just know it. And a monster truck video. Probably not the monster truck video, but more like a LMT bash monster truck video and other things. So I got to get some practice in so I can beat Pablo. So there's that. See ya. Oh, yeah, that FMS looks pretty awesome that was announced. Out.